We're back. Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. Welcome back.
Hey, y'all. Good to see y'all again.
Yes. I know. Feels so long and fuzzy.
Everybody's looking good. 2021's almost over.
Yes.
I guess we all needed that long break.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a lot going on.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right. So if you are joining us, please let us know where you are tuning in from. Put that in the chat. Make sure you like, follow, and share. More so share. We are trying to our followers more and get our podcast out there. So please make sure you all share the podcast.
That's right. Like, share, everybody you know.
Yes. Hey Kim, how are you?
Okay, Ohio in the house.
Oh,
Ohio.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Ohio.
We have so much to talk about. So when did the season end?
Yes.
March or
was it March? I think it was beginning of April, maybe. Yeah.
April. So we had the whole to talk about. Anybody do anything? I know Amir, he has been like the world traveler. So I know he's gonna talk about
I know, right?
Yeah. We had to do it big because last year, 2020, we didn't get to do anything but take care of a newborn baby. So we dropped the baby off with the grandparents. We went to Curacao, did a whole bunch of activities, ATVs, stayed in the pool, lots of drinking. The Casamigos was pouring up. Other than that, then we went to Jamaica. We just got back a couple weeks ago. And beyond a little bit of mosquitoes, that resort life, I'm just saying, all-inclusive is the way to go if you're going to travel. I don't want to stay in another Airbnb again, man. I might go to Montana and get an all-inclusive resort at this rate.
Well, I'm glad you went to Jamaica when you did because I heard they have like an advisory now.
Yep, I just saw they upgraded it to stage 4. Everyone on the resort had masks on, so I felt safe. But I'm glad I went when I did because COVID's going up everywhere.
How was the plane ride?
How was the plane ride?
Yeah, was it like people had masks on? Was it not?
Oh yeah, all masks on. Some people had on the face shield. You're not allowed to take your mask off during the flight. It was a 3-hour flight, so it was a little uncomfortable, but I wanted to go to Jamaica, so I was willing to sacrifice the comfortability.
Right.
Okay. All right. Chanel, what'd you do this summer?
I moved my daughter to school. I was so excited at first, and then till like a week or two before it was time for her to go, I was like, wait a minute, like my life is going to be like so different now. I was so excited for her. I didn't realize how it would impact me. But I really spent the whole summer preparing for that because, as you know, she just graduated high school in June, and then we're moving her to college in August. So it's been tough. I'm not even gonna lie. Shanika, I know we talked about you last season with your daughter going to school. I didn't imagine that it would be so difficult, but I'm excited for her nonetheless. That's basically what I spent most of the summer doing, and then just working on my new fashion line and having more opportunities to be published as a model. I've been on a few runways this summer, have a few more coming up in the fall. So I'm excited, but I'm still dealing with managing my emotions with the life change.
So you kind of skim over like it's nothing. You're a fashion designer now. This wasn't even in your eyesight, was it? This is something that kind of popped up on you.
Well, it did kind of pop up when you say it like that. I mean, I guess I design things, but yeah, I got my first sewing machine when I was 12, and I've always been very, very creative and crafty. Like I've made things around my house and stuff like that. Wall stuff, but I'm like that closet person, and my secret got out of the bag and got to somebody who told somebody, and then I guess I consider it divine intervention. Maybe that's the great one above saying, "Go, child, go." So, let's see. I'm nervous because, as an artist of any sort, you wonder how people are going to receive your works. But I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
let it go, Chanel.
Huh?
You got this, Chanel. You got to let it go.
Thank you. I need that because you just never know. I know there's an audience for everybody and everything, but when you think about it from a personal perspective, it's a little scary.
Right, I understand.
Yeah.
We're rooting for you for sure.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's been a tough summer for me emotionally. I guess you could say professionally, although that's not my degree profession. But I'm tired of that, by the way, being a nurse through coronavirus.
Yeah. Well, you're a hero. Thank you. Thank you for being there.
I appreciate that. I ain't gonna be there too long.
Yeah, no, thank you for sure.
I'm tired. I've had almost 200 COVID tests.
Wow. Well, I'll go next. This has been like a summer for the books. This has been probably the best summer I have had. This is the best age I've experienced. I thought people once you turn 40 is where it is. But for me, 50 is where it is. It has been an amazing journey so far. I started in May. My husband took me to Orlando for my birthday for a week. In this beautiful resort. At the end of May, we're going to say foster fathers now, to 2 little girls. We have a 4-year-old daughter, and we have a 17-month-old daughter. So we're moving towards adoption, probably starting in January. They said they would take anywhere from 12 months. And then just last month, we just bought our first house. That's why I don't have my green screen up, because we're still moving in, getting things set up. But it's been a wonderful summer, and I made up my mind. I have 5 more years left in the hair business, and then I'm totally transitioning to my business. So, it's exciting. Very, like you said, I built a solid career for 25 years, and getting ready to change over at 50 plus. So that's the challenge, but I'm up for it. I know I can do it, and I believe what the Bible says, that my ladder is going to be greater.
You've got this well.
Well, you've had an amazing summer. Lots of life changes. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you. What about you?
Miss Bell, what's been going on?
So my summer really included a lot of celebrating. So Asia graduated. And so we had a party for her, and then we went out to Kentucky and celebrated my mom's birthday. Then we celebrated my husband's birthday, and then we did some traveling. We went out to Kentucky a couple of times. We went to Pittsburgh. We went to New Hampshire. So we did some traveling too. And then, just like you, Chanel, we packed Asia back up and took her back to school because she's going to get her master's. So I definitely,
yes, congrats.
Definitely would have wanted her to stay, but home and go to ODU, but they weren't really offering much, and she was getting more offerings from VCU. So so she went back there. So we're definitely excited about that. We're excited that she chose to go back to get her master's. That's really exciting. And now, like it's like the second half of my life is like, okay, what? Because we're kind of like on the downside, and it's like, okay, what are we doing? What are we my military spouse life will be ending not soon, not real soon, but soon.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
on to the next chapter.
Right.
Make it exciting.
That should be exciting.
It makes me nervous. It makes me nervous when something has been in your life for like 25 years, and then you you have to look on the other side of it. It's just like, okay.
But think about this from my point. This has been my struggle. So I'm the very opposite of what you are. So you've been a parent for 25 years or whatever, and a military wife. So you have this empty nest syndrome. So can you imagine for 49 years being able to do what the hell you want to do when you want to do it? And now and the two are beautiful babies. Don't forget about me whenever you want to run to Walmart.
I hear where you're going. I hear where you're going with this.
That's like I'm, gotta go to high school graduation. I'm maybe 68. Thinking like, oh, that's your granddad? I'm like, no, that's my dad.
Oh.
Well, I think it looked that differently for men though. Yeah, men make babies till they die.
Yeah.
I think I think as a man you have a pass. Especially when you look young.
Yeah, and I gotta stay fly. So I'm not gonna be opposed to getting anything done to get, everything tight and right.
That's right. I agree.
Yeah, and I also have to say too that I just over the weekend. So if I hold up my hands, first of all, let me say this. Let me put this to me. If I hold up my hands, I am missing some nails because they were only weekend nails, and so look,
I said the same thing. My hands look horrible.
Don't judge me, but I went to my 30-year class reunion, my 30-year high school class reunion over the weekend, and I was not going to go, and then my best friend was like, go, and I was like, and I'm actually glad I went.
That's good. That's good. Did any of your haters show up?
Did any of my
haters?
You know what? You know what? It wasn't. The funny thing about you saying that is, I don't really think that was any sort of problem when I was in school. It was more so I felt like I was bullied, and someone asked me did I have a good time, and what I realized is that any issues that I had with people when I was younger, I felt like, okay, they were young. And I didn't know, just like I was going through, they could have been going through too. So I just realized that as adults, people deserve chances as adults. And then if they are still who they were when they were younger, then you can make a full decision based on that. But I just feel like, those people that, I encountered as adults and really, if you still behave in the manner in which you were behaving then yeah, I have no desire to socialize or whatever with you. But I mean, I guess as adults we all deserve a different type of chance.
Well, let me ask you this. I didn't go to my 20-year anniversary. I may decide to go to the next one, but I always wondered about how you think about how people look now. Like like were the fly girls still the fly girls? Were the buff dudes still the buff dudes?
It's funny that you say that because we only had and I'm just gonna be very honest. So only one black guy, which is my cousin, came. And then outside of my husband, and then my friend's husband. So my husband graduated 2 years before me, but I had to give him a talk because he was a basketball player. So I had to remind him that it wasn't his class reunion, that it was mine, even though I knew a lot of girls. Because he's dapper. I mean, he's handsome and he's dapper, and I already knew. And then the funny thing is that he took a group picture of us. So it was all of us together. A lot of people that were there, and so he was like, "Oh, I graduated 2 years before them." And a guy behind him, he was like, "Man, you look younger than they do." So,
you know where I was going with that, because I was looking at some of my classmates on Facebook, and I'd be like,
and to be honest, like some people, I didn't know who they were. Some people, and I hate to sound this, so maybe I'm not gonna say it, but anyway. Some people
go ahead, say it.
Like we had to go to the yearbook to like, okay. That's who that is.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, we had to go back to the yearbook, but But I mean, we look good. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
We look good.
Yeah, I'm sure. I just always wondered about that.
You know, so as
I know
kind
you
as
was
I
like,
can put that.
husband. Come on here, husband.
Yes, and he had a couple of drinks and got the two-step, and I was like, okay, honey, okay.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, all right, guys, let's get into it. Let's get into it because it is so
okay. What are we talking about?
Yes, that has happened over the last 3 months. This in general. So, I was kind of a little bit like what I wanted to talk about, and then just as I was thinking, it popped up on my phone. So, has anyone been following the R. Kelly trial?
Oh,
All I know is that he's been extradited to New York, I think.
All you know is, because you're breaking up a little bit.
the last thing I heard was that a male has accused him of assaulting him. That's the last thing I heard.
I saw the day that there was it a dancer who walked in on him and Aaliyah?
Yes, that's what I just saw. So a couple of weeks ago, his manager? I think one of his managers had testified that he was the one that went and got the marriage license for Aaliyah, not the marriage license, but the ID for Aaliyah to say that she was 18 so that she can marry R. Kelly. And then he testified and was like, he said that the reason why they had to get married is because she was pregnant. And that's the reason why they had to they were trying to get the ID that said that she was 18 so that they could get married. And I was just like, wow,
I think that came out in the documentary too, though.
I'm just like, I mean, I knew he was kind of trifling, and I was trying to give him. I mean, even with all the stuff, I was just like, okay, R. Kelly, I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, but I just like at this point, I just can't even. And he's just gonna have to just suck it up and just take what he's gonna get because it's just crazy. And then when they got married, her parents, I think 6 months after, her parents had it annulled.
Right. Because they knew it wasn't right.
Right.
And there was no baby, so there is no need.
Right. And you know what? And again, even about the baby, I'm like, is there no baby? Or
yeah, you don't know.
That was my first thought too. Like, dang, did she have a kid and I just forgot about it? But I just think Aaliyah really had some creepy men in her life. Because it wasn't just R. Kelly. Other guys have come out, celebrities talk about how they were just loving Aaliyah.
Yes.
I'm like, look, I'm not saying Aaliyah's ugly. That's not really what I mean. But she's just so young that
she was very young.
Like, when at the time I was just, this isn't right, y'all. I don't care if she's 18 at this rate. Whenever she did turn 18, I'm like, nah.
Yeah, it was a little creepy. And
look at from her perspective of her body. Her body it looked so underdeveloped. You know what I'm saying? Like she looked childlike. I mean, remember her little videos with a little crop top? She was completely flat. She was like completely flat chested. Her curves hadn't popped out yet. So I was like, she looked like a kid. What do they want?
But her image, they were still selling sex. It was still. She didn't have an innocent image. Her image was still a very sexy one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, I thought that she was a lot older. Like, when she passed, and I mean, even still, I still was like, okay, 22. But now as an adult, I'm all like, oh, man. Like, if she was 22 when she had passed, then that whole age ain't nothing but a number. Like all that stuff. And I'm like, and R. Kelly, this ain't right. You know what I mean? This ain't right to me, man.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So I'm still following it, and I will continue to follow it because I really want to know where it's going and how, what the outcome is going to be, which I pretty much already know what the outcome is going to be. But it's just interesting to really hear the people that are coming out and testifying against him now that, you know, he's pretty much like he's broke. He doesn't have any money to continue to, you know, pay people and all this. And it's just like, okay, it's just that's neither here nor there. You should have, you know, really considered all that prior to. But, you know, anyway.
Well,
so, yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, that was in Chicago still. And I did hear about charges in New York. So it will probably be a good idea to see how that plays out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's going down. He was already down, but it's going further. Yeah, he had his time. I don't think we need to defend him anymore. You know what I mean? He had his time.
Yeah. It's pretty much a done deal. But,
oh yeah, Justin makes a good point. Them parents are messed up, man. Especially because don't forget about Aaliyah, but just add the other women who came forward and the men, man. Yeah, all the evidence they have. That's right. Yeah. Oh my God.
Right.
Now I say we just disregard those grown women because I just have my own feelings about that. Like, I mean, it's very weird the hold that he had on some of these people, and you know what was, you know, I just really sometimes want to know, like, what was behind the scenes, what was happening, like what were you paying them, what were you saying to them, what were you giving them to keep this such a secret from this young girl, like, and not just her but many others. But like I said, I'm gonna continue to watch it, and we'll continue, I'm sure, to talk about it on up until the end of it. So I mean, there's plenty more R. Kelly talks, I'm sure, that we're gonna have. But so yeah, let's move right on. Moving on. Hey, so I don't know if you guys heard about it yet, but you know, the NFL started to approve 2 anthems, the national anthem, of course, and then Lift Every Voice and Sing. So this was approved by the NFL. So, you know, Alicia Keys sung Lift Every Voice and Sing, and she's been getting different reviews on that. Well, Bill Barr, his position was that are we, or is the inclusion of this national or this, you know, the Negro anthem side by side with the national anthem recreating segregation but with a different name? Why would we be okay with having 2 separate anthems sung at NFL games? And there's been they've been calling her the like a racist, you know, supporter from the opposite angle. What do you guys think about that? Do you feel like the inclusion of having 2 anthems, which, you know, of course, African Americans or Black people are going to associate with the Negro anthem, even if they never heard it before? You know, we have a lot of young kids that are, you know, coming into adulthood, and then we have the national anthem where you have, you know, I guess I would assume more non-Blacks or, you know, Caucasian people, you know, standing with their hand over their heart. You know, how do you feel about that? I mean, she's getting a lot of backlash.
Wait, who was she? I didn't catch the name.
Alicia Keys was chosen to sing it at the first game this season, but it's the NFL that approved the inclusion of it pre-game along with the national anthem.
Right. Okay.
Now my question is, did any players kneel while she was singing?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. Because I think that was the whole point, right? I mean, the whole thing was people were protesting the national anthem. You know, hey, perfect world, we just sing the Negro national anthem, just that, and not even do the other one. You know, just replace it. You know, what would be the big deal?
Why is it necessary?
Singing the anthem at all?
Right. Why is it necessary?
The military pays the NFL to do that.
Okay, so
propaganda.
Why is it necessary?
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
I mean, I don't think it's necessary, especially since these are private entities. You know, this is not a government. You know, the NFL teams are not owned by the government, so I don't think that you know, that it's necessary per se. So I don't even know why they're recruited. I mean, in the long run, I'll have to do some research on that. But
yeah, they just made that up.
why it's necessary to sing the national anthem before games, and anybody in the audience, help us out. Let us know if you know why it's necessary, because I just feel like, and to answer the question really, Chanel, I feel like, although we're supposed to be making all these steps forward, I often feel that we're making steps back, because it's like we're so busy trying to figure out, okay, so we have this, now we're going to add this, and it's like, okay, adding that is not going to fix the issue, because that's not the issue. It's like we're band-aiding it, if you will, or pacifying the situation. Whereas if you look at the root of what the issue is, you don't need to add another song to make Black people feel good about the national anthem song. Like, that's not the problem. That's not the issue. And actually, it makes us look like that was dumb as hell. Like, why is that necessary to do that, when either one, you could just stop singing it all together, and let's just play the game.
I agree with you, Shamika, 100%. I think that the better solution would be to just scrap it all together. But I agree with Bill Barr on one level, and that is to add the anthem, to me, basically admits that Black people are excluded. So we have to give you something to feel included.
Right, but giving us something is not always the right something to give.
I agree.
Right.
Not always the right something to give. It's this is going to keep them quiet long enough until people like us start to have these conversations that's like, okay, does it really matter? Like, what did it fix? Oh, just so that, okay, Alicia can sing the National Negro Anthem, and then we're still supposed, so that's going to keep everybody from, because that's what the problem is. The problem is you don't want people to kneel. So if we get somebody to sing the Black National Negro Anthem, then y'all kneel, and then we could go on. Like, but if you just stop singing the freaking national anthem altogether, then nobody's gonna kneel anyway. Take a moment of silence.
I agree. It's more like a pacifier. It's like a pacifier.
Right. Say a prayer. I don't know. I mean, what happened to the coin toss?
Right.
I just mean, I don't think we need the anthem at all. I mean, yeah, especially with the whole flag and the American flag. My wife makes a good point there. Like, the focus is on football. I know why they did it, though. They did it for propaganda. They wanted to get people excited about America and the military, because they did like the flying the jets over the stadium, having veterans at the games. Like, they know what they're doing. They're just trying to keep our image as a military power fresh in the lives of our civilians. It's interesting,
right? And then to say, oh, it's a just, I mean, to say, oh, it's a now. I mean, now I guess it makes sense that it's an insult to military, but not on the level of it's an insult to military. It's like, okay, well, they're paying to have this, the national anthem being sung. Okay, so on that level, okay, because they are, but still, my thing is, I agree again with Bobby, and like, it is a distraction. Like, if you deal with the nature at hand, the problem at hand, which is, yes, police brutality, then you can combat the problem and not worry less about which national anthem. Okay, so now this person has sung that national anthem, and now we got to wait another 2 more minutes for Alicia Keys to sing another national anthem.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, if we didn't have police brutality in the beginning.
Let me play devil's advocate. So, what would be an appropriate first step? Because at some point, somebody has to make a move to make improvement. So, what if this is somebody's one effort? How minute you feel it is to work towards fixing the problem?
Okay, I need to make sure I heard your question, because you were kind of in and out. You said, what would be the first step to making it right outside of having?
Yeah, I'm asking. So we all understand that it's not going to fix the problem, but there has to be a first step towards fixing the problem. Suppose this is somebody's first step towards working towards the problem. What I'm asking you, what would be the appropriate first step in your terms? Fix this problem that you're speaking of.
Right.
Well, first we gotta figure out what problem it fixed because I don't see. I mean, I don't see what it fixed.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think.
Go
Sorry,
ahead, Amir.
Shanika. Yeah, I
No,
think
go ahead.
what could be an appropriate first step. Honestly, I never thought the NFL would do anything. Like it can't do anything to actually fix police brutality. And honestly, I think what they should do is nothing. What I mean is let the players kneel, and just that's it. They're using their platform
Mhm.
to express their disapproval of police brutality, and to say, so if they don't want people to do that, then then they can't have the anthem showing. I mean, I don't think there's any appropriate first step, honestly. Like, I just can't see it because it doesn't actually fix police brutality, no matter what the NFL does, unless the NFL funded the police department directly.
Right.
Okay.
Right, I agree with
So
Amir. Like,
the NFL removing their opposition to people taking the knee would be a good step then.
Yeah, I think taking an apolitical standpoint, like that's their job. If they want to show support for a certain cause on the job, why are y'all involved?
right. I mean,
So,
it's just it's no different than these artists who are using their platforms. People like Nicki Minaj, people like why I can't even think of his name. Had the locks and he cut his locks off. The rapper. Can't think of his name. Older guy, but anyway, using their platform to talk about why people shouldn't get the vaccine, or they're well, Nicki, I don't want to say Nicki Minaj said why people shouldn't get the vaccine, but she's researching it to make sure that she's comfortable of getting the vaccine, and then why can I not think of his daggone name? The rapper, he used to have locks, but he cut them off. But he's really old, back in the day rapper.
Busta Rhymes? Busta Rhymes?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, and he was like, he went through this whole. Basically, what I'm saying is, to me, it's no different than football players. Basketball. That's their platform. Like that's their platform. That's the rappers and whoever else platform. It's no different to me. And I feel like I don't feel like anybody should. And I've said this before. I don't feel like anybody should be punished to stand up or kneel down for what they believe in, because as I have said, there's people in the military who don't have that option. So when I see people who have a platform to kneel or to speak out for people in the military who cannot, because of the circumstances, like, I feel like great, because there are some people who don't believe in certain things, but they can't put that out in the forefront because the military is their job. So I feel like when people take the opportunity to kneel down or to stand up for what they believe in or things like that, to me, that's a stance that they're taking for people who can't. That's a voice that they're using for people who cannot. So, I just don't think anybody should be punished for what they believe in.
I agree. 100%. What's next?
All right. Okay, so you guys know who Michael Baisden is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I read his page a lot. So he posted this. It was a rhetorical, but it got me to thinking. So he posted this. He posted, "Would you support the idea of marriage licenses expiring like driver's licenses and giving the couples the option to renew them?" And a lot of people were talking about the divorce rate was like 50%, and they felt like it would make couples work harder to stay married. It was a whole bunch of different people, and they were like, it would increase the divorce rate. What do y'all think about that?
I don't know about that.
I better not hear no celebration in the other room.
You ready to retire me?
But look, if the game is tight, you should look for your renewal notice.
No.
How long does the driver's license last? 4 years? 6 years? 3?
That's a while.
1 year?
Yeah, maybe more than 5, right?
Yeah, that lasts a while.
10 years? 10 years at a time?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. First answer. Yeah. See my wife over here laughing. Yeah. I can't even imagine what that would even be like. So,
Justin said 7 years. He knows.
Okay,
what?
But you know what? That's a good number. 7 is a good number because they said that if you can make it,
That's for completion. I don't know if that's a good number.
Well, yes, because listen, because they say once you make it to 5 years, it's kind of like downhill from there. So like once you get over your humps and all that in 5 years, then the next 2 is like, okay, are we gonna stay together?
Well, I think to add a renewal, I mean, then divorce would disappear. I guess, right? I mean, you wouldn't need to go through a divorce if it just expired. But
and then instead of having divorce court, we would have mitigation court.
Yeah. I can see this. Okay, first off, I'm going to say as a man, I think that I would benefit greatly, more so than any woman could from this agreement. And I just mean that in terms of just in general, I think a lot of men have a stronger position in marriage just by law. But, I don't know, like it just seems like it's going to lead to relationships where that's held over the other person's head.
Right.
Like, you better do this or that, or else, I'm going to let this marriage license expire.
Your renewal. You better let me go do, open relationship or we're not renewing.
Do you not think that those things are already talked about in people's marriage? I mean, do you not think? I think that people have those conversations anyway. I think that people threaten people in marriages. People like, I think that a lot of, it's funny because I just think that a lot of things that people like pose questions and stuff like this. I really think that people really do have these sorts of things happening in their relationships, but they don't put them out there because they're afraid to be judged. And I think that there's a lot of judging that people do, but I feel like your relationship is your relationship. If you get into a relationship with somebody and you're like, okay, listen, we're going to work this out for 5 years. And at the end of this, we're going to either keep going or it's going to expire. I mean, maybe not in that term or in that way, but I think that there's people live differently. People are different in relationships. People have different types of views that are deemed to be their own normality. They may not necessarily be normal or the norm to other people, but who's describing normal? Whose definition of normal? Everybody has their own definition of what normal is within their relationships or within their living situations or whatever. So
I mean, oh my God.
I do feel like, I'm sorry, Amir. I do feel like if they expire, it will just make it too easy. A lot of people hold on and go to counseling and do things because divorces are difficult. I mean, I'm not talking just the separation itself. I'm talking about the legalities of it. So I think it would just be too easy.
Yeah, I mean, my wife said, what's going to happen to the funds if you separate during the renewal. So, I mean, if the renewal doesn't happen, there's so many things, especially when it comes to assets, that are now what? Like, do you have to have I guess everyone would have to have a prenuptial agreement.
I was going to say
in order to have it, like to say, I'm going to get this or that. But then, kids come into the mix if you're going to have kids.
Or maybe if they went to renewals, there would be no such thing as prenup. You just come, because if it's so easy to walk away, then let's just make it easy on society. Walk away with what you came with or what you made.
Well, that, or because in some, like, depending on, it's a percentage, like even like in the military, like depending on how long you've been married to that person, it's like you get a percentage, you have to be married a certain amount of, like, if you're like talking about retirement benefits and things like that, you will get, it's like a percentage that you are entitled to after being married so long or so, whatever the case may be. And I think that, and then in some states, it's like, even if it's cheating involved, it's like it's split already 50-50. It doesn't matter if it's been some infidelity in there. It doesn't matter. It's just all straight 50-50. So I think it would be something. What?
Really? I didn't know that. Is that Virginia?
Yeah, he's like, which state? You know, because I live in this state. Can we get a list of those states, please?
No, bro. I hope that's not Virginia.
Yeah,
Justin about to comment.
Yeah, I really don't think it would be a problem. I mean, I just think that it's a null and void. It's a type of situation. It's like, I mean, because listen, think about it. Back in the day, you used to have a blood test before you even got married. You know what I'm saying? So like,
they're making sure they won't marry brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I mean, so there's.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Back in the day, they were in place that that are not necessarily in place now. But what if we go back to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that it would be an issue. I think that if that was in place, they would definitely figure out. They would definitely figure out a way to to make it work or whatever.
I think, another thing I was going to say was that how much does it cost to renew that marriage license?
Yeah.
How much does it cost to renew a driver's license?
$30-something, maybe.
No, $30-something, $100-something for registration.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, marriage is a pretty big deal.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We renew our. It's no different than renewing a business license or renewing a.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting it to be a couple $100, but that's kind of what I mean is, I just think that also adds into it.
Right.
If it could just expire, I might be like, you know what? How about we just not be married for a couple of years, save some money, then we'll get married again.
What happens when people start going back and forth? When he ready to cheat, he be like, I ain't gonna renew this year. Or this round, I'll catch you in the next round. It's just too messy.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of entities to it, but I mean, I'm sure that when that question was posed, it wasn't. People didn't process all that. It was just a thought. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. Just the very basics, the very foundation, the very surface. Right. Of it, because it's just like, because there's still, even with driving, it's like, okay, so what if I get a DUI in between? Like, how many DUIs can I get before they take my driver's license? And how many times do I cheat before they void out my marriage license? Like,
wait, that can work it that way.
I like that idea. If somebody can prove infidelity 3 times, you get out. You can get out.
I think that's a good
automatically over, like,
Yeah.
Oh no, not to renew our children. That's a good point, though. You know what? I'm tired of taking care of this kid. Dang.
Yeah. That was a good question.
Some people like their children more than they like their spouses. So, like their spouses. So, the kids are innocent. The kids don't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was a good question. I mean, it's a lot better than the question that I saw asking people if they would take a dinner with JayZ or $500,000 right now.
$500,000.
I was thinking about that earlier, and I was like, yeah, I think I would take $500,000.
Absolutely. So I've seen this question asked before, and I mean, hey, I'm not saying JayZ isn't someone who I would refuse to meet. You know what I mean? If I had a chance to meet JayZ, I feel like celebrities nowadays charge people to meet them, right? You might end up paying $500K to meet JayZ and have dinner with him. But if I just bumped into him in the elevator, it's not like I wouldn't talk to him. Right. But I wouldn't ask him how. So tell me the secret. How did you make $1 billion?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna.
They're trying to say that, the conversation, the knowledge, the insight, is it worth that much? No, I'll take the money.
Yeah, there's some other people that I would really rather take that money and pay to take a course from than to, and I'm not trying to underrate him by any means, but I still think that if you were to actually have dinner with JayZ, they're going to monitor what it is that you can ask or say and things like that. I think it would be very, very structured whatever that, you know, what the conversation, if there's even any conversation, you know, you might just have to be there and just have to be, you know, not really even saying anything. So yeah,
I mean, what are you gonna do? Interrupt Beyonce? You know, like shoot.
So who would you have?
Me?
Yeah.
Actually, probably Nicole Walters.
Oh yes, Nicole Walters. Oh, absolutely. Who's Nicole Walters?
Nicole Walters has so she's so she used to work for this Fortune 500 company. Now she has like a show on I think it's NBC or one of the shows. But it's The Boss, or I'm the Boss, or something. The Boss. And
she's the boss. That's her.
It's good, yes. And she's. I just really like her. I just really like her.
What you, Amir?
Man, okay. If I could just have dinner with somebody, man.
Are you talking? So, Will, are you referring to dinner or money, or just dinner?
Dinner or the movie? Well, you know, because you choose me.
Yeah, I mean, right now, just because I'm interested in screenwriting and production, honestly, I think I would like to have dinner with someone like Denzel Washington. You know, someone who's in the industry, who's known. I mean, he doesn't have to do anything for me, but he could give advice or talk about it, just really talk about his journey. And I would just appreciate hearing that story from his mouth. You know,
you wouldn't pick. That's surprising because I would have thought that you was gonna say, what's her name? Rhimes. What's
Shonda Rhimes.
Yeah,
Rhimes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, those are like. That was just the first name that came to my head. Eddie Murphy. I'd love to meet these people who are in the industry and talk to them. So I'm not saying JayZ isn't cool, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it over the money, if that makes sense. If I could just have 500,000, I could just make my own movie right now. You know, it's like then I'll meet Eddie Murphy later. I don't have to, you know, without the money. I could meet him and then. You know, maybe he won't help. So the funny thing is, it's kind of turned on its head, and a lot of people have like they've made memes, counter memes, where JayZ is at dinner. So it's like JayZ's at dinner with you, and he's like, "So why didn't you take the money? Like, what are you doing sitting here with me?"
I can hear that too. I can picture that happening.
Right.
What about you, Chanel?
Well, it'll definitely be somebody probably at Vogue. Or, you know, just somebody in that, you know, fashion, runway, you know, sector. It'll certainly be that. But I honestly, that is just if the money was off the table. I don't think I would forego the money for any dinner with anybody. Nobody living. No one living. I just take money. Because like Amir said, you can take the money to finance your dream, and you're going to be discoverable to those individuals that you would have passed the money up for. I'll take the money.
Yeah.
Give me the money. Show me the money.
Pay me.
Wait, did you say Will?
No. Oh. You know, it would either be okay, 3 people. It would either be Oprah, Tyler Perry, or Lil Nas X. I know those are
Wait, Oprah, Lil Nas, and who?
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry.
I'm sorry. You're breaking up.
So are you saying Lil Nas X because you're intrigued? No,
I'm saying because I would like to know his thought process because it's very hard to be authentic in today's society. Yeah. And I understand his generation is that I don't give a damn society, which is good. Justin and I were having this conversation. But I mean, me at 50, I am just starting to embrace who I am publicly. And it took me well into my 40s to do that. And for him to be so young and to be coming out so bold, I just like to know his thought process.
I think it's amazing. I mean, I think it's absolutely amazing. And he's so young, it speaks to his rearing And the confidence and such set in him, given to him by his parents and the support. It's amazing to hear.
Funny story. So my husband, he's a millennial. So that generation also does not care whether you know or not. Now, me, I have mental health clients, and all of my clients see my ring and they see the car seats in the back. So they know I'm married, but they just automatically assume I'm married to a female. I hope they're not watching. So I don't ever correct them. And
you don't care if they're watching.
I don't correct them. So they all like, I have one who says, take this home to your wife. How's your wife doing? Tell your wife. She's like, I have a son and I have a daughter-in-law that I haven't even met. I'm like, I ain't even met her. So he's talking about,
no, Justin.
So it's generational. Justin's generation, they just break out. Nas generation, they don't care at all. They're like, this is me, take me or leave me. So it's just funny how it's developed through the generations.
Yeah.
And then my parents' generation, it's just taboo. All of them are in the closet. That's the DL generation, all that kind of stuff.
So let me ask you a question, because it's very funny that you say that, because I was like actually thinking about that. So do you not correct her because you think that she will begin to feel some way about you? Or do you not correct her? Like, why do you not correct her?
All of that goes on the side. Because while she's saying it, I'm saying, should I correct her? Should I not correct her? Is it professional to correct her? Is it in it for business for me to correct her? Am I comfortable saying that? All of that goes on, and I just be quiet.
She shouldn't assume. She shouldn't assume. And that's why, it's funny, because I had to stop assuming that everybody that I came across was married to a man or a woman. So I just had to cut it out and be like, your partner. Because that just covers everybody. Because I don't know.
That's just like somebody asked me, what is my pronoun? I'm like, do you have to ask people that now?
Yes.
It's a smart move.
Right.
Really?
Yes, they are asking
emails, and my pronouns are them and they, or he and
they are on applications now.
I'm telling you, it's just it's smart. Just move with the times. Don't worry about it. Just go with it. And what you can do is, if you assume and accidentally say something, then you could always say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." How do you prefer to be called? And leave it at that. No one should be upset with you, and it just makes it easier for you to navigate, because you never know where someone's sensitivities lie.
Right.
I'm trying to get
move with the times. You're right.
I'm trying to get everybody's names, because I can't keep up with if you are they or them, or he or him, or she or her. I just can't.
Yeah.
I just need to know your name.
Yeah. The name is the best way. My Zoom has he, him, and his now, because I was like, okay, might as well, I might as well stick with it. Because even as a millennial, I remember the 90s, and that wasn't even a conversation. You know what I mean? It's a boy, girl, and we knew there was an in between and there was others, but it wasn't like that. So I'm happy that if we can acknowledge it, I'm just going with it, because I'm like,
But it's so confusing. I was reading an article, and I literally saw, it was an article, and it was 3 people that, it was the person who was interviewing, the person that was being interviewed, and somebody else. And when I started to read the article, they were like, okay, and so they kept saying, so they were like this, and they were like that. And I'm like, who is they? And then I had to go all the way back up to the top to figure out that this person was non-binary, or I think it's non-binary, and then wanted to be referred to as them and they. And I was just I was so confused, because the article, I'm like, this is one person. I'm not understanding, who are they referring to? And then I had to go all the way back up to the freaking top, and I was just like, okay, you know what? So
that's our generation, Shanika.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Shanika, it does work as a singular pronoun for they and them and theirs. We do use it sometimes. So for singular, it's just new now. To use it so often is different. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
It's popular.
Yes, I realized that, but the article, when I was, because I'm thinking, okay, they're talking about this person. I know that they're talking about this person, but I have yet to see, I haven't seen, it's he. And then I was like, okay, Shanika, like I had to put myself in a whole totally different mindset of like, okay, no, this person is wanting to be referred to as them and they, and not him or he and him, you know. So I was just like, okay. And then, you know, but that came on further down in the, yeah. So anyway, so yeah, so it's different. And you know, it's definitely going to take some time, especially for a person like me, to get used to that and not to come across as offensive, because it's definitely not me trying to be offensive. But it's just hard. I mean, it's difficult. And actually next week I'll have a story just about that same thing. So anyway, so guys, thank you all for showing up. I have really appreciated this, us being back. I was super excited to get back. It's been a long April, May, June, July, August, 4 months. I'm glad that we are back. For everyone who is tuning in, please make sure you continue to share. Please make sure you continue to show up. We are here on Tuesday this week, but we will go back to Mondays next week from 7 to 8. Again, if you have any topics that you want us to cover, please make sure that you hit us up at the chat on Facebook, or send us an email at thechatcw@gmail.com. We will soon have a post office box. So if you would like to send us some goodies, and that we can, for some hats or something, like for us to wear and kind of like advertise you or whatever, or just some goodies, you can, you will be able to send that to us, and yeah, we'll do that. Outside of that, does anybody have anything else to add or to end with?
No. Good seeing y'all.
Good seeing y'all. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you all so much for being here. We're glad to see you all. Continue to share, like, and follow, and we will see you all again next week. Same place, not the same time, not on Monday. Make sure it's Monday, 7 to 8. Same place, different day.
All right.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Good night, bye.